fix it.
You just won a very decisive and dominant game. Let's keep our eyes. Again, I can't really foresee what else they would ban. So, yep, they do go with that Volley Bear as they went in Game 1. Now, the question for me is, does BLG change things up, or do they just first pick that card once again? Ezreal has been a high priority. Set, obviously, the other high priority in the series.
So, changing things up, not going for the Bard this time around for Shinmo. And Kramer says, you know what? I like the Ezreal last time. Give me that Ezreal again. I'm curious if they go for the Yuumi once more.
Now we get to find out what worked, though, right? Because both times the team that had Set and Ezreal won. So which one is the stronger factor?
Are you saying that it was one champion that decided both games in the series so far?
Am I doing such a shallow, results-based analysis of things that don't matter? Of course. Of course I am.
What else are we here for?
Yeah.
That's exactly what we subscribe for. It's going to be Peanut locking in the Lee Sin. We've all seen it a million times. He looks amazing on it. I'm excited to see it once more. The Ashe could finally be picked in this series, but Wings is a damn good Kalista as well.
Yep, it is. He's one of our players that has gone to it a few times. He's played it 4 times this split, and, you know, again, very aggressive champion. Would be nice to see. We want some aggression in this series, and obviously combos quite well if they didn't want to flex that set to the support role, so it even opens up that avenue a bit more despite us expecting it in the jungle role.
And it's also a really good pick against Ezreal in the early game, because when you are really strong is when Ezreal is not. So you have a lot of opportunity there to grab yourself some early dragons and control that bottom half of the map.
Yeah, now I want to see, do they go for, do I dare say it? Sidra!
Do you want me to do a drum roll?
I mean, last time around, I was going to say,
Leona.
last time around, their rotation was Trundle Aphelios. Obviously, we have Set who, once again, breaking the flex, so we are showing we just don't care about, you know, the Set flex pick anymore. It is pretty much exclusively in the jungle, which, if you watch globally, that's also what it's being done. We're seeing it first picked in NALCS quite often as well. It's just being sent right into the jungle role.
Ever since people figured out that Phase Rush is really good on him, jungle has become the staple, really, for Sets. Aside from some supports, we do still see it. Okay. Actually, to be fair, if Leona was a champion that could be flexed at all, Kalista Set was a great combo, but Tahm Kench and Ezreal, there are going to be no kills on the bottom side of the map.
There aren't, but I'm also quite surprised to see, you know, like, we don't really have any, that's like single target lock that, like, if there was an Ashe or something, maybe I'd understand it more, but we have a very, like, team fight oriented and brawly first 3 picks coming out from BLG. But LGD signaling, hey, we don't want to play for this aggressive bot lane duo, despite the fact that Tahm Kench actually is like a decently strong laner for the fact that he's sold as more of a defensive support pick.
I mean, it's worth going back to what we were talking about towards the end of that last game. Like, when we look at the way LGD plays regularly, it is a very slow style. It is a very calculated style. Tahm Kench definitely leans into that, right? You can deny a lot of plays that your opponent tries to make, and it kind of ruin the day of your opponent very regularly.
It also opens up for teams that do like to play the map more, because you do have a bit more rotational plays available with the Abyssal Voyage, right? We can see like some sneaky plays going to other lanes, or even collapsing on side lanes, even going to Baron. So LGD definitely going more towards, you know, comp that's actually, I'd say, a bit more old school, like something we'd see more maybe last year, 2018. Obviously, Tahm Kench was a much bigger force in the meta back then.
I can't say I'm that upset that Tahm Kench is not that popular anymore, but it's going to be a KO ban here from LGD, which does signal that they probably want to get themselves an Ornn here for Langshi.
I was just about to say, too, like, even ignoring the KO ban, just having some, you know, generic front line of the top lane definitely makes sense for what they're going for so far, right? They have the backline threat in the Ezreal. We have this pressure jungler coming on the Lee Sin. So, you know, you put together something like an Ornn with a traditional, you know, mage in the mid lane, you're going to have a very strong front-to-back team composition.
And now BLG ban Renekton. Interesting. I don't think LGD were going to pick Renekton. I think they were going to go for Ornn anyway. But also, Galio is available right now. I was thinking that this ban was between Ornn and Galio, but I apparently misread the situation, according to BLG.
I mean, Galio's a champion that actually does fit BLG's comp quite well as well, right? Because we have a bunch of champions that want to go forward. We'll set up for the ultimate very well. And I also want to see where Kin goes in the top lane, because you have a few options, right? I like this a lot if they do decide to lock it in, because they've obviously indexed more into a team fighting role. The Ornn does open up a lot of split push champions too as well. If he did want to like go down deep into his pool, pull out something like a Fiora or something along those lines, I wouldn't like it. It doesn't fit the first 4 champions. But that's obviously something that I don't feel like is out of the realm of possibility for BLG.
I mean, look at Kingan's champion pool, right? He plays absolutely everything. He's one of the top laners that was bringing Hecarim out way back at the start of this split. Like, We've seen shenanigans out of Kingen in the past, and I would not be surprised to see more of them here, but looks like it might just be the Wukong for the team fighting ultimates. And look at the combo that BLG have built for themselves here. There's a ton of CC across this squad. Even the Mordekaiser still fits into that category.
Yep, and the thing that's fine about it, at least, is the fact that, hey, they at least have enough engage and initiation elsewhere in the comp, right? Set, Leona, and Kliss are going to offer enough of that quite fine, so at least going to get the Death Throw, which is going to bring a bit of utility. And now LGD bringing in the Silas to the mid lane. We've already, seen how this matchup goes, and Chie looking really strong on the pick, but hey, Fofo looked insane on the Galio in Game 1.
Yes, he did. And you know what? BLG won Game 1 with this early game aggressive composition. They've drafted a very similar start to what they did in Game number 1. And I have to say, after the performances that we've seen in this series, I'm kind of leaning the way of BLG right now.
Yeah, I definitely like it, and I mean, especially, right, I want to look at the Tahm Kench devour, where it doesn't feel that impactful, right? Leona's ultimate going to lock down numerous members. You have the taunt to lock down numerous members from the Galio as well. Death Realm, like, you could pull in anyone, so I like the comp that BLG put together, and it's a very clear window where it's strong to where, we can look at LGDs and say, okay, well, once you play more from at least a distance with that Ezreal, you have some good peel from the Tahm Kench. Ornn also can provide peel as well. You're going to have the Ornn items coming in later. You have some good scaling on the side of LGD, but both comps definitely want to brawl.
LGD definitely leaning towards the scaling, as you generally expect from this team. And we'll see how this Tahm Kench pick especially is going to do. As Lyric besides me tears up his notes.
Today has been a long day. I don't want to look at these notes. I want to watch this game between BLG and LGD going on to the Rift. That was my impression of you. Was it good?
Oh, it was great.
Thank you.
The English accent wasn't that convincing, though, I will say.
I can't do an English accent.
Yeah, I've met very few Americans that can do an English accent. It seems like one of the more difficult ones. Anyway, enough about accents. We're going to jump onto the Rift for Game 3. The last one in this series. And let's just remember, LGD, they are playing for seeding right now. They are playing for their spot in playoffs. They can't really afford losses. Teams like RNG are still hot on their heels right now.
Yeah, and I mean, once again, this is massive for LGD. If they win here, they do lock it in. And, let's also provide an update that we actually haven't provided, kind of slipped our minds, is that Vici actually now is locked out. Vici now cannot make playoffs. They cannot, reach the game differential necessary to catch up with teams like FPX and LGD.
And that's worth clarifying as well, that the game difference, like how many more wins you have than losses in individual games, is our primary tiebreaker. So even if you beat one of the teams, like let's say RNG and FPX are tied, it doesn't matter who won that series. What matters is who won more games versus losses over the course of the entire split.
Yep, head-to-head is like our third tiebreaker. Comes in if somehow you're tied on series and game score, that's when head-to-head matters, which obviously is very unlikely. We do play so many games here in the LPL. It feels like there should always be some sort of game discrepancy.
I had an argument with someone on Twitter back in spring where someone was telling me that the game difference was the third tiebreaker. Oh, sorry, head-to-head was the third tiebreaker as opposed to second because series difference was the first tiebreaker. But one thing I will say is, while series difference is the primary factor, it's not a tiebreaker, because if there's a difference in series wins, there is no tie.
There's just a different standing. I was so confused when he said that to me. I'm like, wait, do I not understand something? Yeah. Am I just having like an American moment, or
that's just not a tie? That's called a win.
Yeah, that's
good job, team.
Also,
you won.
Interesting to note, I'm pretty sure it was me and you casting last time too, when we had Lethal Tempo Callista.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite strange.
You get a little bit more value out of it in a longer skirmish.
Yes, exactly. Especially later on in the game, right, where you're going to have more attack speed built up, so you are going to be able to get way more autos off rather than just the 3 that Hail of Blades provides. But especially with Callista as a champion, right, I feel like typically you are indexing more to winning that early laning phase, maybe because they also drafted a Tahm Kench, right? They feel like, hey, well, we're not going to get enough bang for our buck with that rune.
Also, like, even just in the early game, Lethal Tempo versus Hail of Blades against a champion like Tahm Kench, you can expect if you're being aggressive, it's probably going to be an extended skirmish. You can just continue to stack up those Ren stacks with the autos onto Tahm Kench while he has the shield up, wait for the shield to go down, and then burst them in the air.
Oh, BLG going for aggressive play so early on. Fofo was here for the dive.
Yeah, we're going to try and make something happen here. TP immediately as everybody is stunned up. We're tanking the towers though. Shinmo's out of the play. Kramer's still surviving. Everybody's surviving on both sides right now as Shie trying to get out. The Ren stack's not enough. How did nobody die?
I honestly have no idea. Kramer almost went down. Shie almost went down, but the damage not being there in the end. LGD might actually get something on the opposite side of the map.
Peanut gets the Q onto King in here.
Long
King
Shing
still has flash though.
Longxing also missed the knockup, which was a bit unfortunate, but man, I agree. That bot side play, I have no idea how no one went down. A bunch of summoners burnt all over the place, but that's it.
Fingers crossed we get a replay of that. I feel like maybe Wings used his rend a little bit early in the skirmish.
Another interesting thing to note, at least on the map, is the fact that Shie at least is losing some minions in the mid lane to turrets, so that is at least where a small advantage has been built up in terms of EXP, which I feel like is pretty massive when if Fofo can get his ultimate first, has a bit of a shorter window to look for one of these plays that could really turn into something. Let's also highlight the fact that, you know, talking about like win conditions, BLG have signaled that their comp is more built for playing around the bot side, right? They have the Mordekaiser on top who can take this punishment, is going to get the Death Realm at level 6. We have the Kalista bot lane, so for BLG, keep your eyes on bot side aggression, especially once we get these Drakes spawning.
Speaking of the Drake, it's going to be up in about 30 seconds. You would expect LGD to be the ones that are going to try, or no, sorry, you'd expect BLG, sorry, to be the ones to try and step forward and grab that one for themselves. But one thing I will say is Wings has gone for that cult. Maybe not expecting to see too much action in that early game. We'll have to wait and see what they're going to do with this one. And as you rightly say before, it's going to be Shie with a minor XP advantage in that mid lane. We'll see. Oh, sorry, no. Fofo with the minor XP advantage. We'll see if Fofo's going to be able to find a window, but so much of that is going to be down to BLG preemptively setting up the play as well. Peanut's in the top side, though. Kingen taking a bad trade, knocked up, and will be taken down. Great Sonic Wave from Peanut. Jumps down to a minion. Textbook dive.
Yep, and we saw Peanuts had a lot of patience, right? He's been playing on this top side for like the past 2 minutes. They finally were able to get it off, and you know, sure, it actually doesn't mean too much in the grand scheme of things, but at least getting a bit more gold onto Peanuts always nice, especially taking off the TP from Kingen early on, so maybe if we do get TPs into some kind of Dragon skirmish, can't force his way onto someone like Kramer and pull him into the Death Realm.
It does look like Kingen's going to walk back to lane now. We can take another look at this from Peanut.
Yep, we see good W and good knockup coming in from Longxing. We see Peanut land the Sonic Wave, goes in, W's out. Just very clean.
Nice to see him holding spacebar during the play as well, like able to keep a good eye on everything that's going on. Peanut going to be able to clear away his wolves and deal with some of the vision in his side of the jungle because Meteor has started this dragon off already. Peanut wants to contest, but Fofo is level 6. I don't know if this is something that LGD can really answer.
And Shie has no mana, so I definitely don't expect LGD to look for this fight. We talked about, hey, their bot lane stronger than the 2v2. They're going to have push. If they wanted to have Kalista here with the Ren, like, everything says, hey, BLG are getting this first dragon.
Shie moving up towards the top side here, but I don't think he's going to realistically find much of an opportunity there.
Kingen also has Death Realm now.
Yeah. So even if you try and make a dive happen, it's kind of going to be denied. You're going to end up in a 1v1. And a 1v1 under the tower, not the best scenario.
Definitely is not. And, you know, we still have Fofo with that ultimate. We see him hovering towards bot side, so we could potentially see BLG try to build up a wave and make a play once again. Obviously now Shie doesn't have TP. Longxing does, so he could potential any bot side shenanigans that BLG look for.
Shie got himself this blue buff as well, so he's going to be able to stick around in that mid lane a little bit longer. Nice there to deny Fofo getting out easily.
Also, though, we do have Rift Herald coming up, so actually seeing Meteor path towards top side, we do expect to see more action on the top half of the map. I wonder if BLG will commit to rotating their full bot lane. Obviously, even if they did just want to push in this lane, have kind of Wings hover a bit and just send Shinmo, you don't feel too much threat coming out from Ezreal Comp-Tench.
Kingen being quite aggressive on this top side here. Peanut moves in. I'm not sure if he was spotted there. I don't think that he was. He's going to make it into the brush here. Kingen does not know that this is going on. And Longxing just trying to look juicy. Look as juicy as possible. Bait Kingen in. Kingen steps forward, will be knocked up. Sonic Wave lands. There's another knock up to boot. And an easy kill. The top laner and jungler for LGD works so damn well in synergy.
Which is actually hilarious for the fact that we don't see them work together all too often, right? LGD are definitely much more of a mid and bot focused team. It is interesting where we see this draft with Ezreal, Tahm Kench, and Ornn on top, and we're like, well, neither of these lanes really demand attention. Neither of them really set up ganks too well, but still, they've done a great job in top lane. Obviously, past level 6 point Longsheng has to call him the Forge of God, so does have the setup there. Now, Peanut 2-0 on the Lee Sin. This is the champion we've talked about many times. It's one of the champions Peanut is famous for.
It's one of the champions he made his name on, and he can really control the pace of a game with this Lee Sin. We are going to see BLG moving up to try and contest, or not even to try and contest the Herald, just to try and get the Herald. Peanut going to be on his crooks. There will be no contest from the side of LGD. So, objective picked up here for BLG. Meteor the one to grab that.
And we're seeing both teams play out the game at their own pace, to where LG do like to take it slower. You know, they're going for these more guaranteed opportunities on top side. We see, great chain CC coming in from Longsheng, but BLG are trying to accelerate the pace of the game. We saw them try to make that dive early on. We've seen them take Dragon. We've seen them take Herald. They do want the faster game pace.
Shea going to be trading aggressively onto the Galio here, but let's be honest, it's a Galio. I don't expect any kind of 1v1 action happening there.
It is one of the most annoying matchups, honestly, for a Sylas. It's so frustrating.
It's annoying for a lot of different laners. Even laners like Syndra can sometimes struggle to have the kill pressure that they want against Galio. He's just so tanky. The Magic Shield just does so much to ruin your chances.
Definitely does. But again, especially a champion like Sylas that does have to get into melee range. You're just setting up Galio for his full combo. He just kind of, laughing in his head.
Cackling maniacally.
Yes, there we go. You with your, as Hysterics would say in the past, great word economy.
Why in the past?
I mean, I haven't heard him say word economy in a long time.
Fair enough.
Shout out to Hysterics, who's potentially in Twitch chat, but who knows?
Let's go, Hysterics.
But going back to this game.
You need to say word economy more.
Yes,
dude. We miss it.
Yeah.
We miss it.
BLG have Rift Herald. So Meteor actually heading towards the top side is quite interesting to me, because we built up the, hey, BLG have this comp that sets up so well for playing towards bot. They have a self-sufficient top laner top side. They have this mid laner that can move. It looks like maybe he's going to go get an angle to gank from around mid.
So it's important to mention, hang on, Fofo going to try and set this one up for Meteor. They do have the Herald, so they might just be trying to shove this in for a different reason, but Fofo still has that Hero's Entrance available, whereas Xie, his hijack's on cooldown. He stole away the Hero's Entrance, but didn't find an opportunity to use it. So there is a huge window here for BLG.
Dragon coming up in 30 seconds. Meteor coming to farm his Grump.
Nice.
Quite interesting. We have Herald. We have all the tools for bot side fights, but it looks like Meteor's going to go top.
Xie doesn't have hijack either.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to see Longsheng ult the wave, clear this one out so that no play top can ever happen. BLG is still going to try and force the issue. Peanuts
this was
around.
So strange to me why BLG feel the need
Shinmo's
to
here as well.
make this play topside.
Well, they're committed. They're definitely going for it. In the meantime, Kramer is just taking tower plays, by the way.
LGD read this so well, right? They answer top. We see Kramer's getting solo gold, solo EXP, which we see members of BLG are sharing, so they've been falling behind in that department. And guess what? We can even see Peanut just run towards bot and pick up a dragon. Honestly, if this turret goes down, I don't feel like it's too big of a deal for LGD side. Opening up a long side lane doesn't really do anything.
But it's going to be a nice gold injection for BLG there. This will get them slightly ahead in the game here, or at very least even things up.
You know, Munchables, I want to say I would have liked the slight gold injection from the bot lane turret, where then you can turn to Dragon.
I think the problem in their mind is that there's no way that LGD would have just allowed you to make that play on the bottom side, and maybe would have contested significantly harder. Longsheng with a disastrous effort to stop the charge on the second tower there.
We look at the comps, right, and we see the Liandry's coming out from Kingen. We see Kalista versus an Ezreal. Like, everything to me looks set up so well for BLG to come out in the fight. You even highlighted she had no hijack. We had Galio ultimate available. She ain't not on first item. I don't know if Fofo just picked up his proto belt, but also is potentially on that as well. The opportunities were there, Munchables. That's what I'm saying. But hey, you know, we're not going to live in the past.
That was loud.
BLG took a turret. LGD got a dragon.
Well, they're going to make another play towards the top side. They really want to get some revenge onto Langxing is the conclusion I'm taking here. Showstopper still comes through, and now comes Fofo as well. Langxing really feeling the hurt here. They are going to get this kill no matter what.
Yeah, and they finally exacting some revenge onto Langxing.
That's what we call brute force, Lyric.
That is, oh, we might see more of that.
Xie is about to learn the meaning of the word brute force. Flashes out, and he learned nothing.
He did not learn anything.
He always hated school, Xie.
He did use Flash, which, that's something.
I'm struggling to think of a school-based reference for that, but you know what? Xie is going to even get a bonus minion wave out of all of this. Did miss the cannon, though. That's an Omega lol from me.
But, you know, looking across the map, we do see a CS advantage in the mid lane for Xie. And despite the fact that BLG did get first turret, they're only up about 1k gold, so definitely not insurmountable for the side of LGD.
So, as we move towards the mid-game here, Lyric, let's revisit our compositions, because in case anyone missed the start here, when we broke things down, there's a Kalista hit on BLG. Mordekaiser, once he gets to one item, is going to be incredibly strong. Set good at basically all points in the game. Galio as well, beautiful in these team fights alongside the Leona. It does feel like if BLG can set some fights up and fight around these dragons and around Baron when that spawns, they're definitely the ones with an advantage.
No, I definitely agree, and again, their comp is very straightforward when you look at their champions, right? They just want to run forward. Leona wants to go in, Kalista wants to go in, Set wants to go in as well. Fofo's an easy time following up. You have a pretty good wombo coming out as well from, you know, the Set ult, Leona ult, Galio ult, setting up all the damage for Wings, and even Kingen if he can get in there. Obviously, there's a ton of AoE coming out from Mordekaiser's kit, to where LGD, I feel like, have to take things at a more reasonable pace, right? We need to see Call of the Forge God turn into like Xie and Peanut finding a good flank onto Wings. We're going to see Kramer playing with Mark from a distance. Which the conclusion from that overall is BLG should win right now.
BLG win right now, LGD win later on,
yes,
theoretically, assuming that there is no snowball, etc., etc. But it is worth mentioning that this is LGD's comfort zone. This is how they play. They do like to go slow. They love to have Kramer on this Ezreal where he can dance around the fights, have this safety from Mark. We saw it in the Yuumi in game number 2. We're seeing it in the Tahm Kench here in game 3. And they're quite happy to just play this one slow, scale up. Not to mention the fact they also have an Ornn, so a huge amount of gold to be had in upgrading those items as well.
And Fofo showing us how to use Protobelt to clear out waves. But more importantly, let's remember, BLG still have Rift Herald, so we're going to potentially see some action here in a little bit. They are using it mid lane right now. We're seeing them pushing the wave aggressively. Fofo is already here.
This might not be action, though. This might just be the tower going down, although LGD are here to answer. Just stop it going down, at least for now. It will clear this Herald out. As BLG, I don't know if you can hear that at home. That's the sound of Lyric ripping up even more notes. He's done, ladies and gentlemen. He's done. He's toasted. He's cooked.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we're getting some now, though. They're pulling the wave. Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, there's a mini
wave. So far away, but it's
cannon.
marching in. Langxing.
She has TP, though. You need to remember that.
Mark is Tahm Kench as well, so they can move people over, but I think Peanut and Mark need to be cautious on this one. It's going to be a solo flag committed as well, but Mark able to save Peanut. Might have sacrificed his own life. Langxing has cleared the minion wave, by the way. The dive is off. Mark is going to walk away with his life. Thick skin at the last second. Langxing. You know, I thought Langxing was the one that got away with that in the first place.
Yes, he played that so well, right? Like, BLG, for some reason, going towards the target that has Tahm Kench next to him. Langxing like, okay, I'm just going to clear this wave. And then puts himself in a position where BLG still get the punish.
I mean, I think that his ult is the only reason Mark did get out.
Yeah, I agree.
But, you know, sacrifices must be made. Maybe get a TP down, but maybe wanted to hold on to that TP. BLG, speaking of TPs, they're going to all get on top of this dragon like a rash.
Kingen is not here. Yep, thank you, Observer, showing us. This is currently a 5v... Actually, it's a 4v4, because LGD are the ones who don't have Langxing. Langxing now up. Langxing has teleport.
Kingen is just going to be the target here. Finds a 1v1 with Xie, but Xie's doing pretty all right in this 1v1 for now. We'll be able to finish that kill off. The question is, of the dragon that resets here, BLG won't be able to get this in time. Langxing gets A nice little knock-up true shot barrage across the team, but Lanshing's already fallen. Peanut has to smite the dragon just to keep himself alive. His Fofo can zone everyone away. Now a taunt onto Mark. It's onto Kramer as well. Solar Flare forcing out the flash from Mark. But as Zenith played, they want to keep this fight going. Flash on over as the Triple King comes through for Wings. They're going on to Xie as well. Quadra kill, and BLG are in charge.
And this was exactly the fight that BLG have been looking for. Great performance by Wings. Great job by Fofo in that fight, finding massive taunts. They obviously find Long Xing at the start of that fight in a very awkward position. Both top laners, honestly, just kind of getting caught with their pants down. But guess what? BLG come out ahead in the end. We've been saying for the past about 10 minutes we expect their composition to do better at this point in time in the game. And great job from BLG to show us that.
I feel like Lanshing kind of chose this, though. He wasn't caught out. He was trying to engage. Just the rest of the team was not ready.
No, nowhere near, especially Kramer. Kramer has been the one like benefiting off of a lot of the gold given up around the map. We see a nice taunt coming out from Fofo to lock Kramer down. And then Shinmo going in aggressively. We're going to see Wings fall with the flash as well. And just great team fight overall coming out from BLG.
Beautiful quadra kill for Wings as well. He is so humongous now. We are going to see, though, Kramer's hit that 2-item spike, as has Wings, but Wings is going to be way further along towards 3 items, and it's worth mentioning that Kramer's 2 items are a lot cheaper than Wings' 2 items. That's going to be a tower going down in the mid lane, and we can now expect to see BLG really start to accelerate things.
Yep, and it's nice to see, especially with something... Ooh, we see Meteor... Oh, actually, all of BLG are here.
Lanshing is just not having a good game. He is getting bullied time and time again. BLG just have a death warrant with his name.
And let's remember that that's where LGD put all their resources. LGD played around topside, though to be fair, you look at their comp and you can understand why, but still obviously not paying off in the long run. BLG found the fight, they're getting their Kalista ahead, that's all that matters.
Feels like they just made BLG angry by focusing on the top side.
You're right.
We immediately started to see BLG focus on the top side. King had taken a few tower shots here, but Wings should be able to finish his tower off. In fact, he turns to the minion wave. BLG not going to commit to the tower at all. Decided to back away at the end.
Does make sense. I mean, we look at their health bars, right? Shinmo's low, Meteor's low, Kingan's low. We see Xie coming back off reset. You're facing a Tahm Kench, as Mark just showed with Abyssal Voyage. So BLG overall making the smart play. I mean, now we're at a point too, right, next Dragon fight, if we get another performance like last fight where BLG are going to be able to turn to something like a Baron and keep pushing the tempo forward. So I'm excited to see if BLG can do that. Obviously, both of these teams are fine, you know, taking it at a very leisurely pace, you know, enjoying the sights, stopping for an ice cream.
In theory, but BLG have put themselves on a timer with this composition. When you've got Galio and a Kalista, like, the damage in the late game is just not going to be there. Lanshing, while you can kill him right now, he's only going to get harder and harder to target down. It becomes very, very difficult if we get to front-to-back team fights when Kramer's just free-firing, safe with his Tahm Kench and his Ornn. That looks really good for LGD later. And
especially, like, I mean, you're getting a ton of value out of the Ezreal. I think you're getting a ton of value out of the Sylas in this comp as well, because you have a very easy time, once again, picking up a Liandry's like we saw last build. You're going to have a lot of targets on BLG side buying health. So I feel like the Sylas is going to be a monster at that 3-item mark as well. Especially if he decides to pick up something like a Death Cap instead of a Ludens. But, you know, either way, this Sylas is going to scale incredibly well in the context of this game. So I definitely like what LGD have put together, and you're right. If the game keeps going slow, it's fine. The thing is, are we going to see them plagued with the same mistakes that they made in Game 1? Because we need to remind everyone, once again, if they win here, they are locked in for playoffs. If they don't, still up in the air.
Still up in the air, but also looks significantly worse for them. If they get some more losses on the board, RNG are watching this series and they are rubbing their hands together.
The thing is, we say, hey, well, their last series is easy. It's up against LNG. This was supposed to be an easy series. Yeah. If this isn't an easy series, there is no easy series left. LNG will be a hard team to beat. Heck, LNG are coming off some good performances themselves.
LNG, I would say, is the harder of these two opponents. I was not expecting this to be a difficult series for LGD. And as I said during game number 1, this is a series that LGD need to be winning in convincing fashion if they want to come into playoffs looking strong, looking like a team that can take on the top 8, that can make it on into top 4. And there were so many people that wanted so much out of this roster.
I wonder if LGD choose to give this one and just play for the next dragon, right? Get some more items onto their carries, as we've been talking about. It does look like they're going to opt for that.
Right.
Yep, I agree. You have no reason to fight right now. Small gold lead for the side of BLG. We've already talked about this is where champions like Kalista, like Galio are so strong. Get to a point where Kramer and Xie will be stronger, where Longxing will be a tankier force, where BLG don't really have the DPS to take him down. I definitely agree with their decision.
The big question for me just is, what happens? What is the difference for LGD between the good series and the bad series? Xie just about going to slip away here, because we see two distinctly different versions of LGD, where when they look good, they genuinely look like a top team. They look like one of these teams that can tussle with teams like Top Esports, teams like JDG, but then we have series like this where it's like, I don't know. Obviously, BLG are playing better than I was expecting them to play here today. But it also feels like LGD just, something's not right today. Something isn't. The decision-making is.
LGD are strange because, honestly, I feel like other than that small run they had in the middle of the split, like where after they beat Rogue Warriors, the EDG WE game, and even the RNG series, I don't feel like they've looked like too convincing overall. Like, they've always looked like a playoff team, but never, like, let's say someone who's going to compete for the title. I guess it's more strange on what happened in that 3-series streak where they got so dominant. And that also was where they were getting 2-set fate like every game. That is when they were first picking TF every game. And guess what? It is very easy to set up plays when you have that destiny. They do just kind of pop up in front of you to where, you know, it's not the same thing when you are getting these other champions that don't have that same amount of proactivity.
Maybe that's the answer, is that this entire design was set up around this Twisted Fate pick, or at least the Twisted Fate pick allowed them to play that style.
At least a faster, more confident style, right? Because we saw in Game 2, they're still able to pick up nice wins, but it's at a much slower pace. It really feels like it also depends on the enemy rather than just yourself.
I think you've nailed it there with confidence, because I was trying to think of the word and I went with decision-making, but it doesn't feel like LGD are indecisive in the moment. When the moment is there, they'll pull the trigger. But it feels like they're not necessarily confident to try and set plays up for themselves and try and force the issue.
Like, they're definitely not indecisive, I'd agree, for the fact that they are consciously choosing not to fight. Like, they are making a decisive decision to not fight. But I agree, it definitely feels like they look at the situation like, well, you know, maybe we can win right now, but hey, if we get to this item break point, we can definitely win, and they wait for that.
And then they get to that point and they're like, maybe we can win right now, but if we get to the next item break point, and then we get that for 50 minutes.
I agree. Again, there's going to be no game better than me than it was one of their games against FPX where they just could have won. Again, I'm pretty sure I was casting it with you. They were sitting there, they're like 5K gold lead, they had the better comp, they had maybe the soul, and they just weren't willing to pull the trigger. They just weren't confident they'd win the fight.
I think that was you and Jake, the FPX series, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
But
you guys are both so awesome. I always think I'm casting with both of you.
You know what, Lyric? You too, buddy. And you, Dagder, if you're in Twitch chat. Hugs and kisses all around.
Oh, God. Oh,
we're getting a bit loopy here on the caster desk.
What a caring fellow. You know what else is loopy? We have a 5-0 Kalista on the Rift. But
that's true. Importantly, a 3-item 5-0 Kalista with a 700 gold bounty. And it's on Wings. Like, let's just take a second here and talk about Wings.
That is weird, actually.
This is a guy that came in, was very hyped as this, like, late-game teamfight 80 carry from the LDL. Kalista has honestly been the most convincing pick for him across the course of this split, definitely in my mind.
I definitely agree.
When we see his Kalista, he does have games like this where he's able to dance. I mean, we saw the quadra kill earlier. That wasn't just his team setting up. That was him playing exceptionally well as well.
Yeah, definitely both. And hey, guess what? We see the last Mountain Drake coming up in a minute. And, I mean, look at how tanky BLG's comp is. It is going to be so hard to kill them, you know, with 3 mountains, with all the resistances they're going to have later on in the game, having the shield as well. Even Wings going for the Death Stance just to enhance that as well. Very smart decision by him.
Obviously, now that the Mountain Drake is spawning in 40-odd seconds, like, the play is for BLG to try and force this Mountain Drake. While we've been waiting for this Mountain Drake, is it fair to say that BLG should have been trying to force the Baron, should have been trying to bait LGD into the fight?
Do I think they could have won fights if they'd done that? Yes, but you know that is always a gamble of going for the 50-50. I prefer going for that gamble. All of our top teams do it because you do have ways of playing around it. You know, having Fofo zone on the opposite side of the pit, etc. But
the way I see it as well is it's less about going for the gamble. It's not that you actually want the Baron. You just want a reason to get them to get into you, to fight. Use your advantage. King and stepping forwards here. The fight we've been talking about looks like it should happen here. This would be Martin's soul for BLG.
And right, the name of the game for LGD is finding their way onto wings. Right now, Shea has the Death Realm, so he can pull Meteor in.
Going to see the flash forwards. Peanut is in the Death Realm. Kramer is the one to get the Dragon at the end of the day. Fofo gets in across the team. Going to see Shea gobbled up by Mark. Kept safe as LGD just trying to kite this one out. They got the Dragon. They could be happy with that, but they want more of a team fight as well. Kingen getting exceptionally low. In goes Peanut to get the first kill of the game. First kill of the fight, sorry. Turns golden for himself. Meteor dashing out to the back of the play as well. Shea continuing this one, and LGD are feeling themselves. They're getting back on top of things. Abyssal Voyage out from Mark. Shinmo will be the next target that goes down. Double kill for Shea. And well, LGD have woken up all of a sudden.
And we see what happens when those initial engage tools from BLG come out, that, hey, guess what? You have Kramer who can play from a range, throw down all this poke. You have Longshin who can find the counter engage. Peanut able to go in as well. And Shea there to benefit off the back of that fight.
What have we just been talking about, Lyric? This is not a team that is indecisive. LGD, when the moment is right, they will make the play. They're just waiting for the right moment. BLG overstepped. They're too late to the Dragon, and LGD punished them so heavily. Now we see the Hex Splash out of Meteor, who's on the wrong side of the play. TP being channeled. Peanut needs to try and get this smite for himself. He does get it in the end, but Kingen looking to find himself a kill. It's going to be 1-for-1 either way, as a Callista got the kill on the Lee Sin there. It's going to be LGD winning this fight. All things considered, Fofo trying to make his way back in. Kramer flashes into the pit here. This is messy. As Meteor going to try and get some CC, but the showstopper out of Shea gets him before he goes down. Shea still surviving for now. Taunted though, and he goes down to Fofo. Now Kramer getting outside of the pit, keeping himself safe, and free firing over the wall. Fofo stunned up by Mark, and there's no way to get towards Kramer. Easy kills for LGD.
I mean, all BLG have done.
Oh no. What a way for the fight to end. Like Shing, he can't do it.
They've just run in one by one. On top of giving them the Baron, have just given them a bunch more gold as well. I mean, gold is still even on our screens, but LGD definitely have a great comp for, getting set up and starting these sieges with the Ezreal as well. And, I mean, this goes to the point that I feel like we see both junglers getting pulled into the Death Realm, so Kramer luckily able to secure this one instead of Wings. But again, we see all these engage tools coming out, right? The Leona using the ultimate, the Galio jumping in. Now they have to disengage. You're in a really awkward position. Fofo tries to make it happen, but you talked about the annoyance of that Tom Kench early on as well. And this is where Kramer thrives, able to go forward aggressively, layer down a lot of this poke. It gets him low enough to where Peanut can now find the re-engage. I mean, Kramer smites the Baron. Thank you for the replay.
Peanut definitely got the smite off, and then, I mean, the rest of this replay is unfortunate to say the least for BLG.
BLG just come in one by one.
We've got a potential fight at our heads in the real game right now, so we're going to zoom back to live.
I feel like a good analogy for LGD is like for boxing or MMA, they're like a counter puncher, right? They're waiting for that right moment for the enemy to maybe misstep first, and then they go for that big shot that just knocks you out.
So you're saying they're the set of the LPL.
Yes.
Wait until they've taken a few hits and then a big powered up haymaker to finish off the fight. Get the true damage in the sweet spot. Or the Baron.
True.
I see what you're doing there. I'm picking up what you're putting down, Lyric. I'm with you. Here we go. Baron, though, in favor of LGD. We talked about scaling options. They're at that point now. They've got the Ornn items across the board. They're moving into the base. It's going to be the call of the Forge God. Going a little wide as Peanut won't find his kick onto Meteor. It means he has to jump back to the rest of his team. But that's going to be one tower, and LGD seem happy with that.
I mean, right, LGD are methodical. That's what we keep saying about them. They're going to take it so they're fine, just kind of getting the small advantage and trying to chain those into bigger advantages.
Also, they've got a Drake spawning in 1 minute, and they cannot afford to let BLG have the inside track on that. So they've got to get back, reset, and get ready for that fight.
True. That is still massive for them, right? We've already talked about they have a bunch of resistances coming out. I mean, being able to pick up the shield as well will just be so crucial. BLG definitely need to Group is like a 5-man right now. Push through mid, get that fast track into River to be able to safely put up vision. But hey, guess what? LGD, as you just said, are at their spike in this game right now. Longshing doesn't have 12 the Forge God anymore, so Engage is a bit more...
Good guy, Mark.
Mark is the support that you want by your side. So I do miss Killua, but that's a bit of an unimportant tangent.
I've never seen someone throw the chicken at the AD carry before. I like that. Nice, Mark.
BLG are here first, but once again, LGD can face check this brush very easily. Longshing is massively tanky right now. 12 the Forge God is coming back up. They have the Engage shield there. And right now, Fofo separated. He does have his ultimate, but still, this could be a potential window for LGD to engage.
Let's bear in mind, BLG, they are still strong. They are by no means out of this one. And Wings has a last whisper, so he's going to be able to do a lot more damage during this next fight. Has the 3 items with the Death Stance as well. Wings is not to be underestimated. If the CC can connect, if they can get this wombo combo that they're trying to set up right now, but everybody from LGD seems to have already got out from this one. Xie finds himself a Death Realm and will go in towards that one. Fofo getting off to the backside of the fight as well. So Kingin gets out of the Death Realm once again and immediately gets taken by a whole bunch of damage. Peanut goes in to finish off the kill. And LGD, this team fighting is superb. Wings now trying to answer for this one. CC goes through, and this is what we talked about. Now they start to burn down. Kramer still going strong though. He needs to be worried about Wings jumping onto him. He's exhausted, so he can't return the damage right now, but Xie can jump on towards this Callista. Wings CC'd up and will be taken down by the Chain Lash.
And they just have so much mobility. We even saw Fofo hit an amazing taunt, but guess what? Xie can weave in and out. Kramer can weave in and out. Peanut as well. They come out ahead. They pick up the Dragon. This should be another kill secured for Xie.
Beautifully done by Xie here. And now, with the Dragon secured, that's going to be Soul Point on both sides of the board, but also Kramer can get down in this bottom side of the map, and Longshing can join him to take another tower.
And now it's really rough, right? Because you have this Ezreal, has Death Stance, has Iceborne Gauntlet as well, has 2 Mountain Drakes, and pretty much most of the damage on the enemy team is this Callista. Just not going to be hitting the same.
It feels like after the initial combo from BLG, you just are watching Xie and Kramer. It's like, okay, did they survive the combo? Great. Good fight. LGD, now you get to dance around and finish everyone off.
Yeah, that's definitely how this one goes, right? We see the Galio come in, we see Meteor going in aggressively. Right now, the fight starts to get a bit weird where BLG are trying to disengage because LGD are stronger. Kingin, you know, making his way back because he's in the middle of the enemy team once he comes out of the Death Realm. And this is what we talked about, right? Peanut goes in, he secures the kill on Kingin, LGD able to walk forward. This is where Fofo's going to hit like a very beautiful taunt right here. But look, Kramer doesn't get locked down. We said Xie is extremely mobile as well. He was in the Death Realm the whole time. So the 2 key carries that Lunchables just highlighted weren't locked down, and LGD are able to clean up the fight.
And Wings can do his best to kite this one out towards the end, but like, of all of the carries to have to go against this Callista, Ezreal and Sylas are going to be able to keep up with you. They are going to be able to follow you while you try and kite away. And if that CC lands from Sylas, you're donezo. Shinmo now stepped too far forwards and feels the wrath of Kramer. Over the wall now as the taunt goes onto Xie. 2-shot barrage across the team, and BLG have to disengage.
Yep, and now LGD just going to be able to keep threatening this Baron if they so choose. LGD is not the team that strikes me as they're just going to outright start a Baron. But they always can.
They could. They're not going to, but they could. Wings getting caught out. Nice kick from Peanut, followed with the pull of the Forge God, but they can't get a kill. Beats the other target instead as Longshing gets a nice little knock up, and King is taking massive damage here. Down goes the Mordekaiser. Death Realm not enough in this situation. And now LGD with a man advantage. Baron could be the option, or just go for the base.
I mean, Xie also has Showstopper. Longshing's extremely tanky. You have the Devour to even pull someone out of a sticky situation. Honestly, LGD could just look to push down an inhibitor, but it looks like they are going to turn towards the Baron this time.
And this is why we talk about LGD as a strong team, because when they do find the advantages, when they do have win conditions in their favor, they are exceptional at team fighting. They are exceptional at controlling the map. It's just getting themselves to this position is quite often rocky territory. Baron being started here. BLG look to contest though. Let's have a look. Shinmo moves in. Baron is down to 1,500. Kramer's going to finish it off. Peanut gets the smite in the end. Meteor couldn't get anywhere close, but Xie is just keeping him well away from the fight. Now Shinmo goes back in, face call as well to get this CC chain. It's looking pretty good.
Ooh.
Keep your eyes on Wings right now because he's dancing around the play, stacking up these Rens. Lang Xing falls. Peanut going to be knocked into GA as well. Kramer trying to kite this one out, but he's well and truly outnumbered. Kramer and Xie survive like we talk about, but maybe they don't actually. Kramer, recall cancelled.
Xie's going to push mid though.
Xie's going to push mid for now. Kramer will end up going down here. It's another kill for Wings.
And like you highlighted in that fight, the Fate's call was the thing that was massive to set up all those kills. It looked kind of alright because Peanut actually kicked Fofo out from being able to taunt anyone, but still, in the end, we did see Wings was untouched, but hey, you get an inhibitor.
How many times recently have we seen Xie backdooring to win a game for LGD? Is it really going to come down to that again, Lyric? Is this really the way it goes? As soon as I complimented LGD as well, they immediately lose a play. Xie gets a Death Realm. He's going to be enough of a threat to stop the inhib going down. My goodness. Well, 16-13, Lyric. We're getting towards 40 minutes. We've had some really long games today, but at least we're getting some really good team fights, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
it's a trade-off I'm willing to make.
We've had something. That's, I've been saying it all day, but I do feel like that's the phrase that is just,
I mean, you're not wrong. You are never going to be wrong if you say it.
I know. I mean, you can't be wrong here. But hey, guess what? LGD are getting some vision control for the Dragon. We see Longsheng already heading over. They have super minions pushing in mid, so they're at least going to have constant push pressure in the mid lane to get this vision. Now it just feels like, right, it's going to come down to a 50-50 smite. I feel like both top laners are going to pull both enemy junglers into the Death Realm. It's going to come down to who can last hit that dragon.
It often comes down to that here in the LPL. Kramer going to be clearing the minions. Xie threatening the Death Realm. As you rightly say, though, wants to try and hold on to that hijack until the Drake is actually on the map. Fofo having to just as punch away. Shinmo taking a lot of true damage here. Kingan's been caught in the Death Realm. Xie happy to take that 1v1. Removing Kingan means safety in the smite for Peanut. But they're not looking for a dragon. They're just looking straight for this team fight. Meteor with a haymaker across the team. But everybody's still healthy on LGD. Wings pulling Shinmo to safety. But LGD can chase all day long. Peanut knocked sky high there as Shinmo desperately tries to escape. This is not a composition that can kite away, though. They're meant to be engaging. They're meant to be trying to fight this team, but it's just not happening anymore. Everybody goes down. Double there as Peanut looks for Wings as well. Abyssal Voyage. They want every single kill they can get as Kramer moves to the base.
And I'm glad the rest of the members are just going to end the game. This game has been 40 minutes and 30 seconds too long. LGD, please just close this one out.
It should have ended at minute 0.
They were supposed to do O.
That's true, actually, I guess. You're not wrong, Lyric, but you know what? LGD, they keep it going. That's a 2-win streak now, Lyric. A 2-1. A convincing win here. A clean victory against BLG.
I mean, the players are smiling.